So I'm not playing that game anymore. I quit. I don't know if I'm gonna be like physically able to do it, but it sounds like a great idea. That one's gonna be really hard. I am just so good at procrastinating. It's sad. I am doing things differently in 2025 and making a list of things I'm quitting. Now, don't get me wrong. I am a girl that loves setting goals. I have 3 seasons each year where I set goals. Once at the beginning of the year, once around May for my birthday, and once in September because I'm still kind of in that academic mindset. I love good goals. But quitting things allows time for better goals. So it works out in my favor. Because I have chosen the words slow and deep for 2025, I had those words on my heart from November, was uncertain if they were going to change, but they haven't. And these are definitely my words for the year. And quitting things goes well with living slow and deep. If you want to slow down and go deeper, you can't have so many things in your life. And I feel like this is the year where I need to slow down, get rid of things, and make some really good choices on what I want to spend my time and my life on. I know I'm not alone when I say that I often feel anxious. Sometimes I know why, sometimes I don't. And I think that quitting things, having less on my plate, less on my mind, will help reduce that anxiety and as a result also improve my health. Like a lot of people, anxiety often plays war with the guts and different areas of the body, and I'm hoping that slowing down, quitting things will help increase my health as well. I'm hoping that will be an added bonus. So instead of continuing the hamster wheel, I am going to jump off this year, and I want to share with you, I think it's about 15-ish things, probably closer to 20 things that I am going to be quitting in 2025 to hopefully reduce my anxiety, have a better year, a better life, show up to the life that I have. Let's get into it. Let me just say these are in no particular order. I just started writing things down as they came to my head, and the first one was rushing. I do not want to rush in 2025. Once again, going back to the words slow and deep. Slow and rush are very opposites, so I want to slow down physically, make sure that I'm on time for things, but also this is going to be a very hard one for me. But in 2025, I want to listen to audiobooks on normal speed, as well as watch YouTube videos on normal speed. I am the kind of person that listens to audiobooks at 2 times speed, often watch YouTube videos at 1.5 or 2 times speed. No more for 2025. We are slowing down, which means I'm going to have to make some choices on which videos and books I will be consuming, because I will not be able to consume as much as I did this last year. So I'm hoping here we will have quality over quantity, and as much as I'm kind of terrified about this because it really changes how I live, I'm also very excited about it. The second thing I want to quit is procrastinating. I am pretty good at procrastinating. I've aced it over the years, and I want to quit that, and I want to quit waiting for things to be perfect in order to get them done. And I have the perfect example for you right over there. So a couple weeks ago, I went and I bought these paintings, which you can see on my wall there. And I had been waiting to put them up because this is going to be a part of a collage wall. If you could see my wall right now, the paintings look a little awkward. They're too low down, but I want to put some smaller frames around there, and I just decided stop procrastinating, put them up. It's part of a longer project. Start with imperfect work on it, and that's kind of going to be an example of what my year is going to be. My husband is really good at this. He is not a procrastinator. He is a get it done person. I am just so good at procrastinating. It's sad. But procrastinating takes up so much mental space. For instance, okay, here's what I'm going to be doing after I'm done filming this. Sitting next to me, I have a gift that I need to deliver. I keep meaning to deliver it. I have good intentions, but I keep forgetting. And I keep walking by this gift that's sitting right there and not doing it. And every time I walk by, it's taking up this mental space in my brain. Whereas if I just stopped walking by and the next time pick it up and go deliver it, it's clearing up space in my brain to think about more important things than the shame of leaving a gift undelivered. The third thing I want to quit is feeling guilty for resting. I really do struggle with this, partially because I work from home. I can always have something to work on. And in addition, because a lot of my work involves something that I love, which is reading. I read for my book channel. It can be hard to separate what is resting, what is working. But I want to make more definite work hours so that I can have my rest hours and not feel any guilt for taking time to recharge, because that recharging will make me a more productive worker. The fourth thing I want to stop doing is being bored while doing boring tasks. And that means finding ways to make them more interesting. So as adults, we all have these tasks that we have to do. This was a shocker to my son recently when I told him even adults have to do things that they don't want to do. So when I'm doing boring things, which for me are putting away and sorting laundry, doing the dishes, sometimes making supper, those are things that I have to do that I don't really love doing. My plan is to make them more fun, and I have been working on this in the last few months, but for me this might mean putting on a YouTube video while I'm doing it. That's what I like to do when I'm sorting and putting away laundry. I've been putting on some music while I've been making supper. It's just finding ways to make these times more fun. And depending on the task, that might look different, but think about ways that you could take those boring tasks that you don't like to do but you need to do and make them a little bit more enjoyable. The fifth thing that I want to quit is hiding my creativity. And this is not something that I necessarily realized that I was doing, but as I was thinking about different ways that I don't share who I am, I realized this is one of them. And I don't know how to necessarily own this or share it or stop hiding it. This will be a work in progress, but it's an area that I want to quit hiding. And then kind of hand in hand with that, I just want to not be embarrassed about who I am. You know, I like certain things, I don't like other things, and sometimes I think we can all do this, but we hear someone talking about this topic that we love and they're putting it down and we're like, oh, should I not love that? Am I not right to like that? Should you hide that part of your personality and your interests? And I do it, and I can think of some very specific ways that I do it and that I like hide in myself when people start putting certain things down, and I want to stop doing that. I just want to own who I am and what I like and stick to it. That one's gonna be really hard. Number 7, I think this would probably be on most people's list, doom scrolling. I don't know how I feel about my current social media consumption. It's not where I want it to be. It's not as bad as it could be, but I want it to be better. So I am going to be researching, looking up different things that I can use to help myself with this. I know of some resources like the Forest app that will keep you kind of not using your phone until you can grow a little tree. And there's different apps that you can do certain things after you've like used up your minutes on different apps. I am going to try out a few different apps and see what works best for me. I kind of have 2 different things that I'm looking for. One, I do like to use my phone for pictures and video, so and like randomly throughout the day, so I don't want something that will stop me from capturing moments. But so I don't think the Forest app would work for me unless you can use that and exclude certain apps. The other thing is, my biggest problem, and I think there's others that can relate, is just going into an app and scrolling without thinking. So I don't really want an app that times my, let's say, Instagram usage, and then I can't go beyond that time. I more want an app that will make me solve a complex mathematical equation so I can stop and think, oh, Why am I opening this? Is it worth it for me? You might hear my kids in the background laughing. They're having a grand old time. So I need to do some research to see if these apps are like actually available. If what I'm looking for, I have not researched yet, but I need to quit the doom scrolling. So I've got a few ideas on how to stop it. If you guys have suggestions, please let me know. Number 8 is to stop thinking worst case scenario. This is mostly me as a parent. I struggle with allowing my kids to do things because I am already seeing the consequences, which sometimes is understandably okay. But there are times where I don't want a kid to play with a certain thing because it's gonna make a mess. Or I'm worried that they're gonna get hurt, so I don't want them to play with something even though the likelihood of them actually getting hurt is really low. As a highly sensitive person, there was a book that I read years ago and would love to reread. I should probably reread, but it talked about how highly sensitive people, people's brains are kind of like a strainer, I think was the example. And people that are highly sensitive have like bigger holes in their strainer, and so everything comes through and they're just paying attention to everything. As a parent, I'm always seeing what my kids are doing, and I'm even seeing what other people's kids are doing and wondering if the parents are like noticing what their kids are doing. I want to learn how to turn that off. I don't know if I can, but I need to just be okay with it. Allow some messes to be made. Just calm down. I need to quit being so uptight. Something to work on. Side note, one thing that I really wanted to add to this list is to quit being a light sleeper. So I googled it to see, can you train yourself to sleep deeper so you don't wake up at every little noise? And Google told me it's not possible. So unfortunately, that's not on this list, but I want it to be. I think I'm starting to lose my voice here. We have 10-ish left to go. I'm gonna make myself a quick drink and then we will carry on. Okay, made myself some hot cocoa with oat milk. No, oat nog. So it's like eggnog, but no egg, no dairy. It adds a nice little spice to it. I like it. Okay, this next one is gonna be hard for me, for sure. I want to quit, it's gonna be hard to say, saying yes to people to make them happy. Especially if it's not really something I should be saying yes to. I think sometimes I say yes because I want to help people. I want people to think that I'm helpful. All these reasons, and it's not always the best thing for me to do. Sometimes yeses are great, but sometimes that can affect, my time with my family or different things that I'm doing. I will often go severely out of my way to say yes to someone, and I have regretted it so many times in the past. So I have heard of a philosophy where you don't say yes to people on the spot. You always, I don't know if there's like a certain amount of time or what one does, but you don't say yes on the spot. I'm gonna try it for this year. I don't know if I'm gonna be like physically able to do it, but it sounds like a great idea. So I am going to quit just saying yes all the time. It can be so hard with personalities, different things, but I want to quit forcing myself to go everywhere. And by this, I mean, I am an introvert that really enjoys staying at home. Like, I do like getting out sometimes, but a lot of the time I would just rather stay home. But because I know that about myself, I know that I would like to stay home all the time, I always force myself to go out. For 2025, I just want to sometimes be allowed to stay home or not force myself to go do something. This is going to be hard, but I think it's also good as a parent to teach this to our children. I have a child with a similar personality who also forces themselves to do things when they don't want to. And there is benefits to forcing yourself to get out. But there's also times where it's okay to stay home. And so I want to be an example of that. This is a more practical one, but in 2025, I'm going to quit wearing my smartwatch. I actually stopped a couple weeks ago, and it is kind of, this sounds overly dramatic, but it's kind of life-changing. So I had a mediocre smartwatch and I still have it. And if I find that I really, really need to use it or want it, I'll put it back on. But it's been a couple weeks and I have not missed it. So mine is mediocre in the fact that mostly it just gets alerts and tracks my steps. I can't really do anything from it. I can't like send messages other than there's like 3 or 4 pre-recorded ones that are like, okay, and I'm ready, but I never used those. I mostly used it so I wouldn't miss phone calls or text messages. I would get alerted when someone was at the door, and I have just decided that I do not need to be that easy to reach. I can be harder to reach. There are many ways to contact me. Most people don't need to contact me and get a response immediately. So I have stopped wearing my smartwatch and I've been mostly putting my phone in an area of the house and just checking it periodically instead of being so attached to it. I don't want to be a person that is a slave to a device, and my watch was always making me check my phone, and I just don't need to have it that I don't need to be that accessible. I originally got it when we started fostering because I wanted social workers to be able to contact me if we were going to get like a new placement, and we're not in that phase of fostering anymore. The only time I find this is probably going to be annoying is if Jared's out shopping, because we often text each other, oh, do we have enough toilet paper? And then the other person can check. So maybe I'll just have to be more intentional with having my phone on me during those times. But other than that, I don't think I'm really gonna miss it. And am I gonna miss the step counting? I don't really think so, because I didn't really care to force myself to hit my goal anyway, my step goal. So I think it's gonna be okay. Just that little kick of like nutmeg and clove, it really adds a lot. Okay, the next thing, I think we're on to number 12. The next thing I'm going to quit is working more. I am going to be working less in 2025 in many different ways. I am going down to 1 video a week. I'm going to be using all 3 of my channels for the first part of the year here, but only 1 video a week. My hope and intention is for each of these videos to be a little longer in length, so it's a little bit more to edit, but with it being less videos, it really won't make a difference. It's the thumbnail and the description and all that that takes so long in addition to editing, so that will help. I'm planning on, once again, giving quality over quantity here. This is gonna be hard for me, especially as I see many people in my life ramping up and doing more. It's hard to pull back and do less, but like I said, slow and deep, those are my words, and that's what I'm sticking to this year. I'm also going to be quitting an addiction of mine, and that is buying cheap stuff. I'm kind of a dollar store junkie, and I think there are a few things that are worth buying at the dollar store. I will forever be a dollar store notebook girl because I don't care for expensive notebooks. The cheap ones get it done, but it's the things that break easily that just end up being more waste. I don't need to be buying that stuff from the dollar store. So part of that is I am going to quit going to the dollar store as much as I have. Notebooks, cat treats, don't know if I really need to be buying much else there. I could probably buy cat treats somewhere else too. So going to reduce those visits so I spend less when I go, because I won't be going as much. This one is a big one for me. When I thought of this one, it like really hit me. I am going to quit resisting the season that I'm in. And I don't mean the season outside, the 4 seasons, but I mean the season of life. Right now, I'm in this season of life where I've got for everything from a 4-year-old to a 14-year-old and a couple in between. And I want to embrace this season. I don't want to be thinking about oh, when my kids are moved out, or yearning for back when they were little. I want to embrace this season, the special things from this season that won't exist in the future. And part of the way I'm going to be doing this is actually writing a list of the things that I enjoy from this particular season of life. I think this will be so helpful. I wish I would have done this years ago, but I want to write down the things that I appreciate right now. My oldest doesn't have her drivers yet. There is a special window here that is going to be changing soon. And I want to write down those things so I can really fully embrace them right now and not wish that time back in a few years. Because that's what we do. We look forward to the future and then we kind of realize we missed out on things, and I want to live now. Stop resisting this season and just embrace the life that I actually have. I want to do a personality change a little bit this year, and I want to quit pessimism. I don't know where the line between pessimism and realism exactly is, but I want to be more of an optimist. This December, my 14-year-old and I were watching Morgan Long's Vlogmas videos. This is a tradition of ours. We do this every December. Because of it, that's pretty much the only YouTube videos I get to watch in December, but it's such a great bonding time for us. And there's lots of things about her channel that I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of, but one thing that I really love is her optimism, and I want to try to always see the bright side of things. I don't know if I'm a huge pessimist. Maybe in some areas where I've been burnt before. I definitely think I'm more of a realist, but I want to swing to the side of optimism for 2025. It's going to be a stretch, but I think that it will be very beneficial. This is specific for myself and maybe anyone on YouTube that has a YouTube channel, but I want to stop playing the thumbnail game. YouTube thumbnails are like my nemesis. They are the worst part of posting videos. And as someone that has multiple different channels, I am always overthinking what I should do for each one, what I should do different. No more this year. My plan is a picture and white font and maybe like different fonts for each channel if I want to go that crazy, maybe even the same font. I am just going basic. Thumbnails can be a thing that really get in a person's head, because some people with crazy thumbnails that spend a lot of time in them do really well. But then a lot of people do really well with the plainest thumbnails. I kind of think there's no rhyme or reason, and I'm done trying to figure out what YouTube's algorithm is for that. So I'm not playing that game anymore. I quit. The last thing, which is kind of multiple things, is I'm quitting digital clutter. And I have some specific things that I'm quitting to reduce that digital clutter. One, I'm going to unsubscribe from a bunch of email lists. This is kind of doubly hard, but also doubly good, because I totally spam got signed up for so many email lists. It was like, I think I got 200 emails in the span of half an hour a couple weeks ago. Some bot somewhere signed me up for a million email lists. I just barely unsubscribed to the University of Texas at Austin. I live in Canada. I'm in my 30s. I'm not looking at university. Why? Yeah, so I've been subscribed to a lot of things, but even different newsletters that I have signed up for, if they are not helpful for me in the season, I'm going to unsubscribe. And then speaking of emails, I also want to deal with my emails quicker. Wow, I've been talking too long now. This is like my procrastination. This kind of goes hand in hand. The idea of walking past something and seeing it multiple times and thinking you need to deal with it. If I have an email that needs to be dealt with, I would like to deal with it as soon as possible, instead of constantly seeing it thinking, oh, I need to deal with that, I need to deal with that. Just deal with it, get it off the brain, get it out of the inbox. I also want to go through my YouTube subscriptions and unsubscribe from some people, because when I go look at my new subscriptions, the new videos in that tab, sometimes it's like, wow, I never watch videos from these people. Why am I subscribed? I'm gonna declutter there as well. My YouTube watch later, I don't want to quit the entire watch later, but I want to quit having it get so backlogged. And because I'm going to be watching less videos this year, that is going to mean that I am going to just be deleting a bunch of videos off of my watch later, making those tough choices to decide what is worth my time and what isn't. And the last thing is I'm going to quit so many open tabs. We've talked about this before. Some of you are tab addicts like me and have like 50 plus open on the regular. For me, it's usually a to-do list. So this goes back to that procrastination. If I have an open tab, it's there for a reason. It's something for me to do. And I want to deal with these things a little quicker so that I can close them and get them off my brain. So there's no number here, but I want to quit being a tab hoarder. And I do not know how many things this was exactly, but this is my list of things I want to quit in 2025. Make some space for things that I'm excited about, make life a little less anxiety driven, and I'm just really excited for it. If you guys have already thought about things that you want to quit in 2025, or if this list has inspired you to think of some things, let me know what you plan on quitting this year to make some time for other things in your life.